Former CIA Director John Brennan, CIA Director under President Obama, is attacking Attorney General William Barr and Special Prosecutor John Durham for looking into Spygate. Listen to this.
I'm supposedly going to be interviewed by Mr. Durham as part of this non-investigation. I don't understand the predication of this worldwide effort to try to uncover dirt, either real or imagined, that would discredit that investigation in 2016 into Russian interference.
Wow, quite a statement. Let's find out what he likely meant. Joining us tonight, Victoria Toensing, former Deputy Assistant Attorney General for the Criminal Division of the Justice Department. Joe diGenova, former U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, founding partners of diGenova and Toensing Law Firm. We appreciate you being with us. We know that you've just gotten back from Europe, and it is great to have you back on, on God's favorite place, the United States of America.
And we love being back with you, Lou.
Well, it's great to have you back. And let's start with Brennan. And what in the world did he mean by that idea of a non-investigation, and whether imagined or real evidence?
Well, he said the investigation's already been done, and so I am really confused, because I thought that Bob Mueller refused to investigate the origins of the Russian collusion and how those allegations started. As a matter of fact, you recall Bob Mueller said, "Fusion GPS, I'm not familiar with that."
Yeah.
He refused to recognize the fact that Glenn Simpson had met with the Russian woman who had the juice and was at the meeting, and he met with her the night before and the night after. Bob Mueller said, well, that was not my jurisdiction.
Well, there's so much to investigate, and right now, Rudy Giuliani calling it an illicit impeachment inquiry. The president making the decision now to inform the Speaker of the House that there will be no further cooperation with the House and its various committees because there's been no vote, and the Republican Party is obviously being shunted aside and denied its traditional privileges that are required of either party in taking on something so important, or what should be so important, as an impeachment inquiry. Your thoughts, Joe?
Well, it's quite obvious what the Democrats are doing. They have not had a vote on the floor of the House to start a formal impeachment inquiry, because if they were to have such a vote, under the House rules for impeachment, the Republicans would get subpoena power. So in order to avoid giving the Republicans subpoena power, they're doing this impeachment light with these 6 different committees who are claiming it's an impeachment inquiry, and they're trying to subpoena people and get documents without having an impeachment vote on the floor.
Right.
That is why the White House said, we're not going to cooperate with this kangaroo court.
All right, your legal opinion. Will he be able to maintain that position if she does not relent and go act in the interest of the country?
Yes, and in fact, the White House position, I think, is very well founded based on the history of impeachment proceedings of presidents, not judges. You know, impeachment proceedings of judges are irrelevant. In terms of impeachment proceedings of presidents, always there's been a vote on the floor of the House, and the minority has been given subpoena power.
And the constitutional basis for that, Lou, is that the Congress is supposed to be the legislative body. Well, they're not legislating when they're impeaching, so they become a different kind of entity. And in that, they have to have the full support of the majority of the body. This is legal chess, and the White House just moved its queen.
And remember what they're trying to do. They're trying to nullify an election. And so, and they're doing their investigation.
And overthrow a president.
Exactly. So this is basically a coup in the form of an informal impeachment inquiry. So this is extra constitutional as well as unconstitutional.
And now we have enough inspectors general, from whether it be the DNI or whether it be the State Department. You almost need a program. Suddenly, inspectors general are at the forefront of so much that of import. But today, Steve Linick, the State Department Inspector General, I have to say, he took a package of material over to the committee. There was an email amongst the other documents that he took from John Solomon, the Hill's intrepid investigative reporter, to one Victoria Toensing and one Joe diGenova. And the left has been trying to make hay out of that because Solomon and by the way, the two of you have been such let's put it this way, such a problem for them. They couldn't help but try to make something of it. Your reaction to that email?
That's so twisted. First of all, you need to know that original email, because we checked it today, said, "Would you please take a look at this so that I don't make any factual errors?" Mm-hmm. Oh, how terrible for a journalist to do that. Some people don't do that, you know. They just make false allegations against people. And that's why John sent it to us, because he knows we know Ukraine.
Right.
And he didn't want to make any mistakes. Now, why did somebody take off that message and then start to make false allegations against John? You know John is getting good, and he's really getting deep into these cases because they're attacking him relentlessly. Let me give you an example.
And no one has broken more on this the nation's worst political scandal in history than John Solomon.
John's a real reporter, one of the few left in America.
But let me point out something, and this is a very good example because it's months ago. John Solomon interviewed Shokin and wrote about it, and wrote
the former general prosecutor of
yes,
Ukraine.
The fired prosecutor general of Ukraine, who now says that he was investigating Biden's son. But he was saying it back then, several months ago. And guess what? The mainstream media ignored it. And only when Rudy Giuliani came out and said, "Here it is, I've got Shokin's statement," now they don't ignore it because they can't. So now they attack the prosecutor general and Rudy and John Solomon. That's the way it goes.
Those attacks.